What's going on, guys? Welcome to CloverCast, episode 3. So in this episode, I think one of the things I wanted to talk a little bit more about is kind of some of the identity of this podcast that I'm looking to create, how I'm going to be going about, talking about or selecting talking points, talking topics, things I want to cover and go over, and things like that. So when I was looking into some of the crypto specific podcasts that were out there, just doing a little bit of online research, there tends to be a little bit of a common theme that I see with a lot of those. A lot of them are with YouTubers that I don't really know or don't have a whole lot of experience with, haven't really watched a whole lot of their content. But, I see that it is a little bit more, geared towards, top market cap coins, Bitcoin, those sort of things. And, I guess that's somewhat expected. I was on a podcast on just the other day. And that's another thing I kind of wanted to start doing was appearing on other people's podcasts and kind of networking a little bit with other people that are going to be out there. But one of the things that I saw, that there is a community feel. So that's certainly something that I want to bring in. I'm looking to bring on a co-host. I've got a friend of mine, Money Mike, that's offered to come on more regularly. And so we're looking to set that up here real soon. And, might bring on some other co-hosts. But I was on this other podcast, and that was kind of the theme. There was a lot of people that were tuning in. They were kind of talking about certain Bitcoin topics, some of the trending news and things like that. But a lot of the people they had regular jobs, and so they're kind of looking for something that maybe they're not as involved with, they can buy a particular cryptocurrency and just kind of set it and forget it and not have to worry about it, or maybe they're just wanting to kind of have some more general overview. And I think the one thing that I've really focused on this channel has been more geared towards passive income, and that's kind of a different niche when you're looking at some of the cryptocurrency spaces. Is that the passive income space can be a little bit more high risk, but that's something that I think that I've geared towards, because it's been a means to sustain what I've been doing. I've been living full time on crypto, basically since 2013. More recently since 2017 is when I really started branching out and traveling and working with different companies and starting my YouTube and social medias and whatnot. But I've been in crypto for a long time. I've seen a lot of different things. I've seen things come and go. And so that's kind of been something I feel like has been, more of my focus is the DeFi space, some of the ways that you can earn a passive income with some of these, some of these up and coming projects. But, in that there is, a certain level of risk. There's been a lot of really promising projects that just haven't panned out for, whatever reason. So, I want to take some time to cover some of those topics. I also want to go over, some things outside of crypto, some things that are going to be a little bit more specific to my interests and maybe some of the interests of people that tune into my channel. I think spirituality, shamanism is something that I can speak on, quite a bit, and that's something I think would be some topics that I'd like to explore. Certainly, with some of the things I'm looking to do out on my land, setting up some things out there, but that's kind of more of a long-term vision, and that's going to take some time. I was just out there the other day or yesterday, and I got to see some of the things. I have a guardian that's out there right now that's watching over my property and kind of doing some general upkeep and maintenance and keeping some of the insects and problems at bay. It's, man, one of the crazy things is just the vegetation out there. It just grows so fast. I was out there a month before, and then coming out there, it's just seeing how much stuff has grown. It's just been incredible. So my guardian is actually working on the property next door, and he cleared out the land 1 month. 1 month later, I returned and I saw he was planting corn, and the seedlings were already sprouting. And then I come back yesterday, and they already have like corn that is almost ready to harvest. He's saying is like 2 months you can this stuff grows up so fast. I was amazed at that. But it's something that presents a lot of challenges out there in terms of kind of maintaining the space, and it's something that I'm not able to do in the same way, and it's going to take some time. So it's something I'm working on and progressing towards. And once I have a little bit of a better internet situation out there, it has improved drastically. I want to start doing more things out there where I can kind of dive into some of those topics. But cryptocurrency and passive income specifically within the cryptocurrency space is one of the main drivers for that, and having an ability to fund some of the things that I want to do, and some of the things that I'm looking to do into the future. So that's, I think, what is going to be the focus of this particular podcast, and bringing on some other guests and speakers that are kind of in that niche. So that's why, like, when I did like my last video and I'm talking about all the cryptocurrency projects that I'm in, and I'm on this recent podcast, it's like none of those people are really talking about it or have any experience about it, or don't even really know a whole lot about it. Or even if I bring up something as kind of generic as hex, people have a lot of negative things to say about Richard Hart. They're just kind of looking from the outside. And I was just bringing up a talking point about how he's fighting for certain rights, like the right to transact, because there was some topics that came up that were kind of more political, or kind of based on corruption and things that are going on in the world. And Richard Hart is kind of fighting for that. And then the kind of the kickback I'm getting is that a lot of people are unsure about his character, and so that's something I guess you're going to run into. But if you're looking at the passive income space, there is a little bit of a kind of a crossover into people that are in hex, the hexicans. Even though that whole ecosystem is way down, and there's a little bit of uncertainty with some of the proceedings of the SEC and how the government regulations are going to play into that. That's going to be one to keep an eye on, and I think that's reflected in the price. I think that's why the whole everything's kind of in a holding pattern. But I really enjoyed watching Richard Hart on some of his live streams when he was doing them back then, breaking down certain things. And I would always learn things when I was watching him, and he would give me some certain things that I would be able to go and take a further look into. I didn't agree with some things that he was doing in terms of how he's marketing himself, but you can't deny that some of those things are effective. So you're not going to see me going out there like twerking and doing some of the stuff that he's doing. But it certainly has an ability to attract attention, and that was what he was doing at that time. He seems to be a lot more humble now, from what I'm seeing. So, like the passive income space has been more recently more focused on like elephant money. Elephant money really seems to be now is kind of taking over as king. If you look at the charts, I mean, they speak for themselves. And I don't see that slowing down really anytime soon over, at least the next year and a half, 2 years, because of the way the system is designed to put buy pressure on the ecosystem. And it has a passive income element by investing like $10,000, into futures. You can pull, roughly, what is that? That's, $50 a day in passive income. And if you are able to, if you're able to kind of let that play out for, what is it? I think it's like 14 or 15 days, and then you do, the compound. You're earning, 10% on that. Now that $50 is probably a little bit misleading, because if you're pulling money out, you're also taking, from your principal, your capital that's invested, and so your 0.5% daily is gonna change. Depending on how much you're withdrawing from the system. So if you're able to compound in the system, you're going to be able to earn more, and that model, I think, is going to be popular. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to also depend on people's how much that ecosystem grows. So if the liabilities end up becoming too burdensome on the ecosystem, then I think you could see some that reflected in the token price or how people are investing. So I think that when you look at some of the models, like there's some spreadsheets that were out there that was done by Crypto Slow, and he was looking at like a strategy, like if you're compounding like every week for I think it's like 2 years. By the end of those 2 years, you're in a position where from a $10,000 investment, you're able to pull like $50,000 a month, or even up to $100,000 depending on how you're withdrawing from that. So obviously that type of initial investment and then how much you're withdrawing is going to put a lot of liabilities on the system, but that's also 2 years out into the future. And the way the system is designed, that it's the way it's investing into the elephant token, and the way that is increasing in price, and that is covering some of those liabilities. So as the Treasury is able to sell some of those assets to cover some of those, that is a system that is has a lot of ability to kind of work into the future. So I think it's designed really well. Bank Teller has been someone that's been in the space for a long time and has a lot of experience in finance, and so I think what he's doing is great, and I'm really supportive of it. And I think that Elephant Money is probably going to be one of the bigger projects that I'm going to be focusing on my podcast when you're looking at passive income opportunities. So that's going to be one that is going to be definitely one that we're going to be focusing on with my podcast, until some other ones really come into the space and really show, hey, we deserve some attention as well. And so I'm certainly going to be open to looking at some of those, and having some good debates, and looking at where's the risk, where's the opportunity, what do you see, where do you see this going into the future? So this is something that is this podcast I'm working on is going to be, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it daily, but it's going to be kind of one of my goals. But the aesthetics are going to be important. So, having a real high quality microphone, having really good visuals, right? Right now I'm going off my laptop. I've got, a nice, Rode microphone. This is, very high quality microphone that's going to give really good audio with some of that. When I'm doing things on my phone, and when I was doing some of those before, it's not going to have like the feel of a podcast, right? And so I'm going to be looking to set up a studio as well with a green screen. Eventually, what I'd like to do, if my finances improve, I'd like to set up a really nice studio that you see in a lot of these podcasts. Is the aesthetics is really good, and that has a kind of a draws people in. So creating some like a really unique studio out on my land is going to be probably another one. Maybe setting something up close to the Amazon River, maybe something in the back of my land. There's Maloka that I'm going to be looking to build. And for those that don't know what a Maloka is, it's a kind of a large structure that you would typically perform shaman services in. So if you're if you're drinking ayahuasca or looking at some of the other plant medicines, they would take place in the Maloka. And I've got an amazing location that I'm looking to build. I covered that on one of my past videos. There's this just incredibly majestic tree on my land, and I started clearing out the space out there to set up a Maloka in the future, for that. It's kind of like in the middle of my property, and it's going to be an amazing location once I kind of get things going out there. So, but in order to do that, I need to have some income. I need to look at some ways to generate, some streams of income to be able to fund some of those. And then once I'm able to, kind of host people for drinking ayahuasca, I think things will start to do better at that point. But, getting things to that point is a little bit difficult in my current situation. So I'm going to be looking to build, a passive income stream, but also, some other, financial streams of income to be able to afford to pay for a lot of that stuff. Now, a lot of it's not going to really be all that expensive to build initially, because I think I've talked about this before, is that out on my land, I have really great workers, experienced workers. I can hire them for it's like $4 or $5, for like a 4 or 5 hour, work shift, and they do a really good job. And I've got a lot of guys that I've worked with that I've got some experience with, and they have a lot of experience working out there, and it's you can use a lot of the materials on the land. One of the issues and problems with that is going to be, the longevity, like how long that stuff's going to last. I could build a lot of stuff out of wood, but I mean, the termites out there are insane. And that's, I think, that my biggest fear is, even when I'm going out onto my land, is the termites are just, they destroy everything. And so it's going to be probably better to do things out of brick, out of, metal, and that's gonna come at a higher cost. Getting brick out there is going to be a little bit of a challenge. I was trying to figure out how I was going to do that, and I think I've got a solution with the slow boat to be able to do that. But it also needs to be set up to kind of bring materials and things like out there in an economical way. And man, like I went out there, and it's the dry season right now. So the river is at its lowest point, that it's going to be. And my port, like where my port used to be, it's like a 40-foot cliff now because of the way the river is kind of slammed against that. You're able to kind of walk down a little bit, and then it just drops off right into the river. And that's kind of because of the way that the river and the boat traffic with the waves, they come over and they smash into the bank there, and cause a lot of the this natural erosion. So you guys like the guy behind me has been sweeping here. Yeah, he's so I can show you guys a little bit of kind of where I am. This is a nice little park. I've got a little foosball table here. They've got like 3 soccer fields. They've got a pool back there. I really like this complex, real close to where I'm living right now in the city. I run out here pretty much every single day, and I've been pretty religious about that. I have a lot of experience with teaching sprinting mechanics. I have a lot of I have a lot of experience with that, but I believe that sprinting is biomechanically the most efficient exercise you can do, and I can kind of go into a whole another stream maybe where I kind of dive into that a little bit, and I can talk about some of those things. But I was really fast when I was when I was younger. There was a couple of times like when I was like, I competed in national track meets, and I was a sprinter. And then when I was like 10 and 12 years old, I was the fastest white guy in the country. And so it was like, I ended up having to kind of switch into some of the field events, and then I kind of got into, the decathlon. So I was, really good at a lot of different events. But then I kind of used that to parlay into football, and that seemed to be like a much better way to go about, getting a college scholarship. So that's kind of the route I took. And, my athleticism, helped play into, me having the opportunity to play in the NFL a little bit. So, that's, I'm a little bit of a fan. I try not to. I don't really like investing too much time into football. I know it's something that sports in general, it doesn't really appeal to people in crypto, which is funny. Trying to set up like a March Madness sports bracket, it's something I kind of like to do, back when, I had a lot of friends that were kind of into that. I tried to do that, maybe like 2 or 3 times with some of my crypto friends. Like, no one was interested. So sports is just, I don't know, it just doesn't really have some of the same appeal for people that, are into crypto, which is fine. And that's actually, kind of a good thing, because when you've been in sports for so long, you really kind of are looking for some other, just things to kind of occupy your thoughts and mind. And sometimes you get into conversations with people about football, and, I don't really like talking about that sometimes with people that don't have, kind of a whole lot of background or experience in it, because then it's different, like when you're talking with people that played professionally or have professional experience, even just like in other sports. When you're dealing just kind of with the casual fan, talking about certain things, sometimes they just don't really have the background to really know what they're, what it is they're talking about. So anyways, but yeah, so that's kind of my general plan. Getting back to some of the crypto stuff, setting up this podcast, looking for some co-hosts, maybe diving into, some topics outside of crypto, setting up a studio, maybe looking at talking about, shamanism and spirituality, and kind of giving some of my thoughts on some of those, and spending some time to dive into some of those topics, maybe some other, topics. There's a lot of people that are kind of, freedom-minded, libertarian, in a sense, with the crypto community as a whole. And so a lot of themes of corruption come up, things that are going on. I mean, you start talking about like what's going on in current events. Like, I could go on a whole rant about what's going on in Maui, with the wildfires and just some of the stuff that I've been seeing online that has kind of been exposing a lot of that stuff. I mean, it's truly evil, what we're seeing going on. And if I start talking about some of those things, like vaccines or things like that, you're looking at, putting, your channel at risk of being censored, of being, deleted. And so I'm not sure if that's going to be something I'm going to be able to talk about on YouTube or some of these other social media platforms. I would have to move over to Rumble to be able to kind of speak more deeply on some of those. And so that might be something that I look to do if there's enough interest there. But it's also kind of a negative topic and something I try to stay away from. It's something you should be aware of. But, out here, you don't deal with some of the same things. You don't deal with wokeism. If you're dealing with, some of those ideologies and things like that, unfortunately, in my opinion, I think the best way to kind of get away from that is to move, is to just change your location. There's no wokeism here. You don't have the same level of insanity when it comes to some of the agendas that are being pushed. You don't see it as much in the media. Media, they don't have as much of a media presence. I think what's really interesting with the motor cars here, They have like, you can kind of see like, some of these guys over here where they have like these like little 2-seater motor cars and whatnot. If you travel around the city and you need to go somewhere and you have like you try to show somebody like a map, they have no idea like what they're even looking at. It's completely outside of their frame of reference. If you tell them streets here in the city, I'm trying to go here, they understand that. But if you show them a map, like they don't, it's so foreign to them. That was one of the craziest things when I first got here to Iquitos, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to go here, and I would show them a map, and they'd have no idea what I'm talking about. They're just looking at something that's so foreign to them. And I think some of it is just having a little bit of a little bit of awareness that you're kind of dealing with that. You're dealing with some of these different cultures that don't have a whole lot of some of the same background as people in first world countries. So. I'm digressing. So these are going to be some talks I think that'll be good when I start talking with some other people, co-hosts and things like that'll be coming on the show. Mike is in Mexico, so he sees a little bit of that. Mexico's a little bit more developed in certain ways. And I think just this area in general, it's just so isolated. You don't have cars out here the same way. It's 95% of the people on the road are those motor cars and motorcycles. So it's there's no point to have a car. There's nowhere really to drive. Like the only place you can drive is like an hour away, a little town called Nalta. That's about it. So other than that, if you just want to, the main reason to have a car here is for the air conditioning. I guess that's another topic is the heat here. This is one of the hottest times of the year, kind of the August, September time frame, and it's why I'm starting to get into the habit of recording these videos a little bit earlier in the day. It's nice and cool right now. It was raining a little bit the other day, so it feels good, but man, during the middle of the day it is hot. It's hot, it's humid. I wanted to kind of record some videos out on my land, out in my property out there. But when I got out there, I was just I was sweating like crazy, and I had to do quite a bit of work when I was out there and networking with people. And by the time I got around to it, and then having some of my equipment fail, like my stabilizer is not able to handle my phone and my microphone. So I'm going to be looking to see what I can do to upgrade some of my equipment, and so I can provide some high quality videos for you guys. But when I'm doing these podcasts, I'm going to be cutting up some of the clips, putting them into shorts. I'm going to be looking to also work on some content for a lot of other social media platforms. There's a lot of work that goes into that. And so I think that the main focus I want to try to work on is these podcasts in the beginning, is having some different talking points and some things that I can bring some awareness to and bring some of my thoughts to some of those and where I see the things in really the crypto space, but more specifically in some of the areas that are going to be of more interest to people that are kind of in this little niche of the passive income crypto space. So that's going to be that's going to be the focus of things I'm going to be working on here. Open to some of your thoughts. Looking to set up more of a live stream as well. I just want to make sure that I can iron out some of those details. I think StreamYard. I have the free version of StreamYard. It would take a financial investment to upgrade to that. So I'm not sure if I'm ready to to do that. I kind of want to explore other options. If you guys have some, be sure to drop those in the comments. But I'm going to be doing some research on that. I mean, certainly you could do it with OBS. It's a little more technical and probably needs a little bit more of a more stable internet connection. StreamYard tends to work really well with weak internet. and a problematic internet. Not only with the internet, but one of the issues we have here is the power goes out maybe once or twice a day. Just for maybe 5 minutes or so. But I'm not sure why it does that in this particular location, but it's kind of annoying. So I don't want to be on a live stream and have the power go out, and if I'm not on everything's on a battery system, or the other thing is, like, if I get kicked off the stream because my internet cuts out or whatnot, that could cause some problems. So trying to mitigate as best I can some of the technical issues that I'm going to encounter, and try to make it as smooth of an experience for people as I can. So yeah. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.